Imagine walking into your local grocery store, expecting to grab your usual essentials: bread, rice, maybe a few cans of soup. But as you turn each corner, you're met with row after row of empty shelves. The hum of fluorescent lights echoes over the silence where shoppers once bustled. This isn't a scene from a dystopian film. It's a reality millions have faced in recent years, from the early days of the pandemic to the aftermath of natural disasters. For a brief moment, the world glimpsed what true scarcity feels like. But what if that moment wasn't just a blip? What if the next time, the shelves stay empty? In a world increasingly rocked by supply chain shocks, climate disasters, and geopolitical tensions, food security is no longer a distant concern, it's a present-day necessity. The question isn't if, but when. Are you ready for what comes next? The modern food system is a marvel of efficiency. Every day, billions of people rely on a vast, interconnected web of farms, factories, shipping lanes, and supermarkets. Food travels thousands of miles, crossing borders and oceans, arriving just in time to meet demand. This system has made abundance seem normal, but beneath the surface, it's built on a knife's edge. Just-in-time logistics mean there's little room for error if one link in the chain snaps. The effects ripple worldwide. Political stability, open trade routes, and predictable weather are the silent pillars holding everything up. But these pillars are under constant threat from conflict, sanctions, cyber attacks, and climate extremes. When peace prevails, shelves are full. But chaos, whether sparked by war, disaster, or policy, can bring hunger overnight. What happens when the system breaks? The answer could redefine our sense of security, and it's closer than we think. The last decade has shattered the illusion that food security is guaranteed. In early 2020, the world watched as COVID-19 swept across continents, and within days, panic buying stripped supermarket shelves bare. Flour, pasta, and even toilet paper vanished overnight, not because there wasn't enough, but because the system wasn't built for sudden surges in demand. Then came the war in Ukraine, a conflict that sent shockwaves through global grain markets. Ukraine, often called the breadbasket of Europe, saw its exports grind to a halt, driving up prices and sparking shortages from Egypt to Indonesia. Meanwhile, climate disasters, raging wildfires in Australia, historic droughts in the American Midwest, and devastating floods in Pakistan have repeatedly wiped out harvests, leaving millions vulnerable. Each event began with a sense of normalcy, only to be replaced by sudden, jarring scarcity. If a few weeks of disruption can cause this much chaos, what happens if the next crisis drags on for months? The warning signs are everywhere, and the stakes are rising. Across the globe, a handful of regions hold the keys to the world's food supply. The Black Sea, for example, is a vital artery for wheat and corn exports. When conflict erupts there, as it did with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the flow of grain can stop overnight, sending shockwaves through global markets. In Asia, the South China Sea is a lifeline for rice and seafood shipments, but rising tensions threaten to disrupt these critical trade routes. Meanwhile, countries facing their own shortages like India or Argentina have imposed sudden export bans, cutting off supplies to nations that depend on them. Add to this the growing threat of climate-driven crop failures in places like California, Brazil, and the Horn of Africa, and the picture becomes even more precarious. Political instability in any of these hotspots can trigger a domino effect, choking off food supplies for millions. Are you downstream from a global flashpoint? The next crisis could start with a single decision, far from your home, but its impact will be felt everywhere. When food supplies tighten, the effects can escalate with alarming speed. An initial shortage, perhaps caused by a failed harvest, or a disrupted trade route, quickly sparks fear. Shoppers rush to stock up, emptying shelves faster than they can be refilled. This panic buying drives prices higher, making basic staples unaffordable for many. As costs soar, frustration grows, and what began as a local problem soon spreads across borders through global markets. In some countries, food inflation has triggered protests, riots, and even toppled governments. The balance between order and chaos is fragile. When people can't feed their families, desperation takes hold. Control can collapse in days, not weeks. Power shifts from institutions to whoever can provide security and sustenance. In this environment, even the most stable societies can find themselves teetering on the edge. The question isn't just about food, it's about the very fabric of civilization, and how quickly it can unravel. In a world where uncertainty is the new normal, preparation is a form of power. Building a food stockpile isn't about giving in to fear, it's about taking control of your future. So, where do you begin? Start with the basics. Focus on non-perishable staples like rice, beans, pasta, canned vegetables, and proteins such as tuna or chicken. These foods are calorie-dense, versatile, and have long shelf lives. Aim to build at least a 2-week supply for every person in your household. Then gradually expand to a month or more as your resources allow. Don't forget essentials like salt, cooking oil, and spices, which can make simple meals more palatable. And crucially, rotate your stockpile regularly. Use the oldest items first and replace them as you go, so nothing goes to waste. Water is just as critical. Store at least 1 gallon per person per day. Preparation isn't about hoarding, it's about resilience. When the next crisis hits, those who planned ahead will have options, while others face chaos. Power lies in preparation. You outlast the storm by starting today, not tomorrow. No matter how well you stock your shelves, true resilience goes beyond what's in your pantry. In times of crisis, isolation can be as dangerous as scarcity. Building relationships with your neighbors, friends, and local organizations creates a network of support, one that can share resources, skills, and information when it matters most. Security is also a collective effort. Communities that look out for each other are less vulnerable to theft or unrest. Adaptability is key. The ability to trade, barter, or grow your own food can make all the difference when supply chains falter. No one is truly self-sufficient, but together, we can weather storms that would overwhelm us alone. Strength comes from connection. In a crisis, your network can mean the difference between survival and isolation. The world is shifting faster than most of us realize. Food security, once taken for granted, is now a question mark hanging over every household. The warning signs are clear, and the next crisis could arrive without warning. The window to prepare is closing, but it hasn't shut yet. So, start building your food security today. Stock up on those essentials. Connect with your community, and take control of what you can. The next crisis won't wait. The decisions you make in the next few minutes could shape your next decade. Will you be ready? Or will you be caught off guard when the shelves go empty again? Thank you for watching. If you found this information valuable, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Stay safe and stay prepared.